Greetings, my fellow intellectuals and bookworms. Today is another video from my channel, Sean Hartnett. This is going to be a whole new type of video. Tell me if you like it. All new book theory. So, today's book theory will be on The Maze Runner, which, if you do not already know this, I'm honestly shocked. It was youth fiction, or I guess YA, that was very popular, sold like 8 million copies. Basically, it's a critically acclaimed book series and movie. Basically, in this, as a synopsis, before I go into my theory, a solar flare strikes the world and damages the ability of the Earth to, like, sustain itself. Global governments collapse and what have you. The Post-Flare Coalition forms, which is tasked with rebuilding the world. They stupidly decide to release a disease to reduce population to sustainable levels without even bothering to do the research. And then it gets out of control. It's a flare virus. They don't know about the symptoms. Any lesson of history would reveal that a virus won't stop spreading until essentially it either kills everyone or it burns through all of its kindling and leaves absolutely nothing left. But basically, it's a predecessor to Wicked, and its successor is Wicked. So essentially, Wicked, through its predecessor, the Post-Flare Coalition, created the flare virus, which Wicked is now tasked with taking care of, which is problematic. And they have all of the resources of the world, basically, or at least whatever isn't damaged, which is still a lot of resources, and from the book, I guesstimate it's been at least 10 or 20 years, and they haven't had any successful cure research. It's technically ruled by a board of directors, which precedes over the director of Wicked. However, the only action we see that the board of directors ever makes against an acting director was when the former director was like a man in his 50s or 60s, I forgot his name, had the flare and concealed it from them for 6 to 12 years. And if you don't know, the flare affects mental functioning, so the people who make high amounts of decisions suffer the effects early. He was able to conceal it for 6 to 12 months, but his decision-making was adversely affected. We don't know how, but they eventually figured it out, and they stripped all the power away from him and dumped him in a crank pit, which is where they hold infected people called cranks. And that's not really an example of the board putting its foot down. It's an example of them making a hard decision that needed to be made. Now that we've got the synopsis out of the way, let's go with a theory. The lack of cure research is exclusively due to director Ava Paige sabotaging the cure research to prevent the ending of her bureaucracy. All bureaucracies essentially function to perpetuate themselves, right? Keep themselves as a functioning organization. Wicked just takes this cynical practice that is common in all government one step further. Rather, it pretends to solve the problem it itself created, which is already a big red flag. And it deliberately sabotages work so that it keeps getting funding. The board never sticks its foot down and keeps giving it money. Now, this will revolutionize your understanding of Wicked. Now, do I have any evidence to support this? Only indirectly and not that much. First of all, everything Wicked ever tells the reader is automatically suspect. Every statement they've ever made has always been either a lie or a half-truth. They told the public the flare originated from a U.S. bioweapons research facility in the former South, and it accidentally escaped containment. The only part of that statement that is true is not accidentally escaped containment, but bioweapons research, former Southeast U.S. The whole rest of it's a lie. So the indirect evidence I've come up with is at least decently convincing. In the movie and actually the book, she says, we need to know when we have lost to Security Director James Jameson. And she also says, I'm sorry, Thomas, I'll let your people go and we'll stop looking for you. Both of those are very ambiguous statements. In this case, I've taken it to mean she regrets sabotaging her research and wishes to make amends to Thomas for it, and she's saying to Jameson, we've ran out of time. We can't solve this problem. We need to know when to call it quits. So, there's no direct evidence, but we already know that Wicked is a sinister fascist organization. Basically, if we look at it, the security personnel who patrol the streets are basically stormtroopers. The entire board of directors is basically like Joseph Goebbels and Hitler's lieutenants. Ava Braun, or not Ava, but Ava Paige is basically Hitler in this context. The security forces are basically the SS or stormtroopers. She wears white to cover the fact that she's evil. Basically, the city was declared under martial law in the actual movie, and they made it seem as if it was almost nothing. It's basically a police state. So we can assume that everything they tell us is a lie, and we can assume, I don't think they're going to directly say it, but I think I've come up with a very convincing theory. So we already know that their actions are sinister and evil. Now we just have more to back it up. But that's just a theory. A book theory. And cut. Shout out if you can actually get that film theory. I'm a big fan. Not copyright infringement. So, like, comment, and subscribe if you have not done so. This is Sean Hartnett from the channel Sean Hartnett saying, have a nice day. And please respond with even more evidence if you can find it in the book. It's been a while since I've read the book. Thanks.